my why is based off a lot of my own experience. As I said before, I served with the 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines. I was in from 2006, 2010. I went to Iraq, which was a little bit more hearts and minds mission at the time. Afghanistan, I was in Nowzad, and it was at the beginning of the big push from the Obama presidency. We were one of the first offensives with Operation Cobra's Anger. Cleared an insane amount of IEDs, and did a lot of good things over there. And before I knew it, though, deployment was over, and poof, I was a civilian. And I had a very rough transition. On my drive home, I developed a blood clot, so I had a medical emergency pretty much right away. On top of that, I was dealing with an undiagnosed traumatic brain injury. Eventually sought care, didn't really get the help I needed. I was also denied unemployment while looking for a job. But I made my way, started working in the oil field, and then I missed being of service. So that's what a lot of, I think, veterans truly miss when they get out, is you miss that brotherhood and helping out our countries and communities. And you go from having these great responsibilities and doing these awesome missions to all of a sudden this life where you're kind of treated like, the bottom of the barrel, and it simply shouldn't be that way. So eventually I found my calling in the fire service, and began working as a firefighter, and then add more trauma on top of that, and I eventually sought care at the VA for mental health. When I did that, they misdiagnosed me, saying I was bipolar and schizophrenic, and put me on a pretty insane amount of psych meds that then put my life in a downward spiral. I ended up being in the psych ward for 10 days, held against my will, and I have friends that didn't make it out of those situations, but that's a big part of my why now in what I do. So I got out, I was able to get off the psych meds and get my life back in order. I started coaching again. I'm a strength coach as well, and started firefighting again. I was doing all these things, taking care of my health, finding spirituality, and building community and service work through the fire service. I found my service work with that, but I also had a lot of veterans and first responders reaching out to me that I had served with, asking me for help. Whether that was just help with mental health, strength, all of the above, and I would, fill that gap in care essentially. Fast forward a little bit more, and I eventually got out of the fire service and was starting Operation Antifragile, because more and more guys were contacting me, and I was just losing more friends. I was struggling with the care of the VA again as well, and I wasn't going to let what happened to me happen to me again, and I also didn't want it to happen to anyone else. So, kind of how Perry was saying, they fill in, it's a bit of a gray area. That's essentially what we do. We kind of also have a gray area. We try to fill in the gap in care. So if someone needs some sort of a mental health resource, we hook them up with that. If they're trying to get out of pain, we give them a program and devices to help them get out of pain and actually heal, and not just have a Band-Aid. Trying to treat the whole body is essentially our goal. The body, the mind, the brain, the spirit, all of those things, unfortunately, a lot of times just kind of get lumped together into a mental health problem. Not everything is just PTSD. So, started this program, Operation Antifragile, where we're trying to also be proactive, get ahead of the problem, and give these guys these tools to where they know how to handle a crisis when it occurs. Because it's really not a question of if in these jobs, it's just a question of when. It's been quite a journey. I love that I was able to connect early on with QRFup. They're doing great things with the crisis intervention, and again, kind of based off our own experiences and just the frustration of the systems we have now, and we're just not going to let our brothers and sisters fall to the side. just as you said, authentic organizations that are really trying to make a difference. And it is making a difference. I've been working with a stroke patient where she has now like regained the ability to use her leg when doctors told her she wouldn't be able to anymore. The system had just kind of given up on her. I was able to send a Marine I served with recovery devices and strength training equipment while he was still in the hospital, you know, trying to get better, and the wound healing was delayed. Now he took his first steps just the other day. I saw a video of it. So we are making a big difference in veterans and first responders' lives. And it's just been, it's honestly kind of a beautiful experience. I've gone through all of this suffering now. You know, there's been a purpose behind it. It's been, now I realize it's been God's mission for me to do this all along. And that's why, you know, I've had these hard things. And now I'm trying to get guys to use their own struggles as strength as well. So I don't want guys to just be resilient. I want them to be anti-fragile. Resiliency is getting back to where you were. Antifragility is using your stressors to become stronger. So again, you may fall again, you're going to fall again, you're going to have more trauma, more stress, but the goal with building these habits is now you're going to come back stronger. You're not going to fall down to as low as you were, you're going to keep on climbing up. So this program is also open out to everyone. It's not just veterans and first responders. It's how we're able to fund this mission so that we can help those in need that can't afford it. So, you know, civilians, just about anyone can do this training, and then those funds help support our mission for those that can. Again, very grateful to be here, connect with all of these other awesome organizations, and very excited to see what the future holds.